Another commute, somewhat in the morning here. I should state, in my other video, I was complaining about traffic. There's a lot of traffic lights on this street, but I don't normally go to work at typical morning rush hour. I go to work much later. I thankfully have an employer that understands I'm not a morning person and do a tremendous amount of the work at night on programming, so it's a good thing. So I will say, yeah, in the morning and temperatures aren't going to be as hot here, but I guarantee you the traffic can be pretty bad. And there's just so many traffic lights, especially on this street here. Always put them up, new traffic lights. It's amazing. I remember when I first moved here, and the main street that I was off of was just a two-lane highway. I guess it was a pretty main street at the time, but it had just two lanes. You know, one for your direction and one lane for the oncoming direction. So, and there was almost nothing beyond. This is like a major highway here. It's even considered a hurricane evacuation route that you can take, and it goes all the way up to College Station. But there's just nothing. It's like we lived out in the boondocks, and this was like 2001, something like that. So a lot has changed, and I would think 10 years, I guess, but a lot has changed. And it's amazing to own property which started out being in the boondocks, which is now well engrossed by the city. Now, this isn't really the city of Houston. This is the outskirts. This is the metropolitan area outside of the city of Houston. It's a huge city geographically, so don't get me wrong. But this isn't really considered Houston proper. In other words, our schools here are not HISD, which is Houston Independent School District. I live in the Cy-Fair district, but our mailing address, oddly enough, states Houston. So my mirror got bent. How'd that happen? I wonder if my kids are messing with my mirrors here. And there's so many addresses that there's also a South Houston that you can you live in South Houston, your mailing address will literally have South Houston on it. Quite interesting. But yeah, my wife and I chose many years ago. No, we didn't want to really live in the city. Taxes in Texas are great. There are a few other states where their taxes are nice too. Some of their taxes that were offset by other forms of regulation and things. And I'm a big proponent of individual responsibility and let's just say prudent taxation. I definitely believe in some forms of taxes. Obviously, we got to build highways, and it makes more economic sense to have a, shall we say, natural monopoly in some areas versus never having something start up, because which business would want to absorb all that cost and wait a tremendous amount of time to garner profits from it. So prudent taxation, anything that would create individual responsibility is what I guess I would support, and less dependency. Boy, did I make a segue on that. So the city of Houston, yeah, has a slightly higher tax, although most aren't probably complaining, other than some recent things that have been passed which have to do with sewage bonds and all this other stuff. But I'm sure others that are moving down here, that there are a tremendous amount of people moving in from other states because of the Texas economy, that are like, wow, yeah, that's great. So outside of the city, you can get cheaper property. The only biggest tax you got to pay when you're outside of the city of Houston is you're no longer part of the municipal utilities. So utilities are then delegated out to what we call M.U.D districts, which is nothing more than a utility district. And they have numbers. So you can have, like, I'll just make some up, like M.U.D 151 or something, or M.U.D 155, and those districts in many cases have their own boards, and they all decide, you know, what they're going to tax to pay for it, because they all have their own, where they pull their water, or if they're leasing from another source, what have you. And so they all decide on the rate per $100 your home is worth. That's just great, dudes. What are y'all doing? What the heck? He's rolling down his window. Oh, we have a... Maybe they're friends. Oh. We'll leave that one alone. Anyway, so these boards, you can... I remember I went to my board because it went from 25 cents per $100 in my home to $1.75. And so I walked around with others and we got a petition, and we came to a compromise of 75 cents. And a lot of that had to do with developers and overdoing. What the hell? The developers not footing out their portion of the bonds to lay out the utilities. That happens. So other parts that get involved are waste management. Like your M.U.D district can pay for your trash removal, things like that. And the M.U.D district also can get involved where they allow to add, like, if you're in a large enough community, they will let you add a security, or like it's an extra cost, so that way that's tacked on to, like, your water bill, that would pay for the sheriff to come and patrol your neighborhood on a scheduled basis. I know a bit about this. I'm the president of my homeowners association where I live. We have 854 units, and let me tell you, it's a thankless job. I know that a lot of homeowner associations have a bad rep, and we're very opposite, I think, of being that authoritarian than most that I've seen. Sometimes I get really shocked at what's going on. The main reason why we even have a homeowner association in my community is because we're a hybrid community of townhomes and private homes, and mainly I would say the majority of things that we have to really get nitty-gritty about is the townhome sections, because they have insurance, and many of them, for example, were really badly damaged during Hurricane Ike that came through here a few years ago. And those people pay for an insurance umbrella to make sure that their structure and their outer structure has been taken care of. So it's a thing to manage. So you get involved with all these little city things and county things. But I probably put most people to sleep. Like, who gives a crap, man? Right?